So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Well, it's not really the day for me to be here on my own, is it? But anyway, we'll give it a rattle and see what happens here. Absolutely gutted. I've no other overriding emotion here. It just feels like an opportunity lost, and yet again we come off at the end having lost a player for 2 games. So it just begs the question why we didn't rest him on Wednesday night and we wouldn't have that problem. So look, I suppose without Neil here to bounce off each other, we'll just run through the course of events and pick off the main points of where we went right and went wrong. I thought we started very well. I thought the first half was exactly as expected. They parked the bus. We played really, really well, and just, we were taking our time. We were patient. We were passing the ball around. We were looking at those spots where we could pick them off. Eventually getting that goal after 38 minutes is debate whether it crossed the line, but it went in anyway off but the goal was ultimately awarded to Ollie Watkins. There was a challenge in the first minute by Leon Bailey. I think if I'm going to be fair, and that was at the other end, I'd be screaming for a penalty. He didn't get any of the ball, put off the player, made contact with the player. Make it out what you will. There were some questionable decisions from the referee throughout the game. A few minutes later, they had a free kick. In Buemo hit the side netting. You might remember their crowd gave a big cheer, but they thought it was in the back of the net. But obviously, I think Emmy had it covered. And then it turned into the Diego Carlos and what's his name? Zanka. What a different name from the commentator was calling them something different. It turned into their show where they were pulling and dragging. We saw the Diego Carlos being pulled to the ground, rugby style, and you have to ask yourself, what the hell is the guys in Stockley Park looking at? Like, it's bad enough that you're looking at it in real time, and you can see it happening in real time. The referee can't see it. The guys in Stockley Park can't see it. It was a blatant pull to the ground. So if that's not a penalty, I don't know what we're doing. I really don't know how this goes forward. It probably will go forward without all of these referees because they really don't know what they're doing. And then, of course, we did get the goal. We went ahead. I see there's a couple in the comments saying they disagree. It was far too slow. I think it was just the perfect first half. We passed the ball around them, then tried to pass through them until we lost the ball, and then tried to turn it over again. I think it was exactly as expected when a team like that comes for the whole of the first half and tries not to play football. That's about all we can do. But I did my overriding emotion after the first half was that was job done. We'd set over 70% possession in the first half. With 7 corners to none, with 4 shots to 2. It just seemed so easy at that stage that I wasn't worried whatsoever. I think it was 76% possession in the first half, which kind of tells you it all, really. But then we come out for the second half. We go 2-1 up. I'll get to your comments. I try and keep some kind of structure on this, and I'll get to your comments then afterwards. We scored within 33 seconds of the second half, and just as I hoped, we got Morgan Rogers on the score sheet. Very well played, great finish, delighted for him, and it just felt like everything was going to be perfect about the day. And then it just seemed to fall apart. It just seemed like we forgot how to defend. Like, it should have been a pedestrian performance after that of keeping the ball, passing the ball around, keeping it away from them. But instead, we let them take hold of the game and then concede 3 goals, which were, 2 of them were nearly identical anyway. So we absolutely lost our minds in that time. It was a really, really difficult time to take. I was watching it through my fingers. And then somehow we managed to salvage a point out of it. Not that I would have taken a point by any stretch of the imagination today. We needed a win today. We needed to put the cat amongst the pigeons and keep ourselves within distance of those behind. I said it during the week. We look after our own oxygen mask. We win our own games. We put the pressure on the other teams around us. We didn't do that today, and it's bitterly, bitterly disappointing to be in this situation. And look, it becomes a habit. You know, I'm sure the Lille team will sit down and watch us during the week and look at that capitulation in the second half and think they have a chance. They think they come and put pressure on us. So, you know, to see Reguilón tear the Ezri Konsa apart the way he did for that period of time was shocking in itself. And then not being able to defend those high balls into the box when we really should be attacking the ball. It's just bitterly, bitterly disappointing to be sitting here and only have 1 point. But then again, it could be an important point at the start of at the end of the season. But we can't say that about West Ham and say that about this one. We needed to be beating them. They were on a terrible, terrible run up until today. They obviously set out to try and get a draw today. It was blatantly obvious from the start. And to top it all off, right at the end, Dougie Luiz picks up that yellow card. And you're just shaking your head going, can this day get any worse? And the only thing that could have got worse today was the fact that we could have lost the game. So, where do you want me to go from here? I'll have a look at your comments and see if there's anything else that you want me to discuss. You know, anybody who listens to this podcast, I'm not a big fan of going straight after the match, but you guys, our loyal followers, are always there. So I'm here to give you what I can. This one, Konsa absolutely useless as attacking option. I won't say absolutely useless. I don't believe that is the situation, but he doesn't give what Cash does down that side. He doesn't cross the ball like Cash. His passing isn't as good as Cash into that final third. It's a difficult one. I would rather be Konsa and Torres and have Matty Cash there, but we don't have him, so we have to rely on him, and I'm reluctant to go all in on him. Although I did say that Reguilón, it was probably a blessing in disguise that Reguilón did get injured, because we really didn't need him to be there in that position, because he really was coming into his own until he picked up that knock. So look, fingers crossed we can push on, but I'm really, really deflated after that. I'm at a loss to how I can sum up my feelings from 46 minutes to now has just been a slog to watch, a really, really slog to watch. And I wonder, is that decision to not go at Manchester City going to be one that we regret for the rest of the season? Somebody said to me at about 60 minutes, a friend of mine rang me and goes, it feels like we're after doing what we did after sending a depleted team to Moscow in 2010 or whatever it was. I hope that's not the case. I really hope that's not the case, but I do have that dejected feeling today. Thankfully, we did get the point, but, you know, there's a lot of questions. It really is a lot of questions about game management. Even down to when we got the equaliser and he sat the subs down, I would have brought the subs on just to give them that little bit more time to ruffle the feathers. Instead, he waited another 10 minutes to throw them in there. And look, they played the game the way we don't want the game to be played. They wasted time. They dived around the place. They made life difficult for us. They feigned injuries. All of that stuff that you would associate with us getting Emi Martinez yellow carded for. And look, what can we do? We're still in the box seat, but it's one of those games now that has just made things a little bit harder for us. We're going to have to pull a result from somewhere that we weren't expecting to pull it from. Be that Arsenal, be that Liverpool, but I just can't see us getting anything out of those games the way we're playing. It's almost like we've given up a little bit of a hope ourselves and a little bit of belief. So there's a huge job to be done in midweek from Unai Emery. I don't know what he does to rejuvenate this team. We're obviously going to be without Douglas Luiz. Surprising to see it was Tielemans that sat deeper and not McGinn today, but it worked well. McGinn was buzzing around that the edge of that blanket defence to try and create something, and he did very well in the first half, I thought, and it was great to see him back. But it just seems we can't catch a break. We get all those results during the week, and then we mess it up ourselves with that performance in the second half. So I don't know where we're going to pull out these 90-minute performances from, but they're going to need to come. Otherwise, we're in serious doo-doo, and there's a danger that we could get caught. And I still, obviously, that PTSD of being a Villa fan over the last 15 years worries me that we will mess this up. So I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I don't have a whole lot to say, and your comments are just going way too fast for me. Usually when Neil is here, I can dip in and pick out comments and start them and have them ready for us to put them up there. We needed a result today. We didn't get it. It's all about how we bounce back like we did the last time now. A huge game on Thursday against Lille. We're going to go and need to win that in the home tie, because we've got bigger, won't say bigger fish to fry, but we've got huge games either side of our home game and our away game against Lille. To have to go and play Arsenal in the middle of this now is a disaster. But you can only hope that we'll catch them on a bad day and get to turn them over. I can't see us finishing fourth now. I'm going to make that prediction. I think when it comes down to it, we're going to have to be looking over our shoulder, and we're going to have to hope that the rest of the English teams do well in Europe to make sure that we are guaranteed fifth in Champions League football, because it's mind-boggling how hard we've made this for ourselves. I spoke in the pre-match with Spud, if you saw it, and I said that West Ham could be a good point. I don't think this is going to be a good point. I really don't. I think when we look back, this is 2 points dropped. I don't care what anyone says. From a 2-goal advantage to going 3-2 down is just an absolute abomination. I'm lost for words. I'm really am lost for words. I'm disappointed for, all the hard work that was done at the start of the season. Just seems like it's unraveling a little bit. It's just how does he manage to get this team up now to go and play against Lille on Thursday, and then away to Arsenal next Sunday is just bananas to be in this position. But there we have it. As I said, this is a short one. Thank you all for dropping in there. Please hit the like button before you drop out. Sorry I didn't get to many of your comments. I am endeavoring to do my best here for to keep this on the road, but we will come back. Neil is obviously not in a position. You saw beforehand he had a problem with his Wi-Fi and whatever, so he's moved on from where he was and has no coverage, so he couldn't get on to be with me afterwards. But look, all we got to do is pick ourselves up and go again. I'm as deflated as everybody else. I'm disappointed. And look, we gotta trust that they'll bounce back from this, but a little bit of hope is gone, and we've just got to wait and see what happens on Thursday now, because a huge performance is needed on Thursday, because I'm not expecting much next Saturday, or next Sunday I should say. So the Conference League is our focus from now on until Thursday evening, and fingers crossed the great Maestro can turn this around. But I'm beginning to wonder, are we running out of players to help him do this with the injuries and suspensions now are really starting to hurt us. Certain players have turned into a really big loss. We could do with Kamara, really do with Kamara now going into the run in, and we're not going to have him. So look, enjoy your Saturday evening. Hopefully it doesn't make you too disappointed, and thanks a million for dropping in. Sorry about the short podcast, but we'll chat to you maybe Monday with Neil when he recovers from his hangover. But thanks again. Up the Villa.